When the Force faced the Stormers in round 8 of last year's Super 14, a young 21-year-old Australian hooker came off the bench to make his senior debut. It marked the latest chapter in the quite remarkable story of Nathan Charles.
Well, I grew up in the inner west of Sydney, so league, that was really dominated by league. So I used to play league growing up on a Friday and rugby union on a Saturday and a Sunday. Coming from a union background with my dad and my brothers both playing, my uncle still plays Golden Oldies, so I just like to get out there and play footy, whatever code, and just get out there and have fun.
But Charles isn't your average youngster trying to make his way to the top. He's achieved his goals in the shadow of a life-threatening condition for which there is no known cure.
Cystic fibrosis is the most common genetic condition in Australia. It basically affects the lungs and the digestive system. By the looks of me, obviously I don't have a problem with digestion, but I eat plenty. But mostly it affects me with the lungs. It just creates an extra sort of mucus in the lungs and clogs up the airways a bit, but fortunately I look after myself, keep myself in tip-top shape so it doesn't affect my on-field performance.
Yeah, like anyone that overcomes adversity, you really admire it. Nathan, with his cystic fibrosis, initially I think kept it quiet because possibly a little embarrassed about it, didn't want people to think that would hold him back, but since he's come out and made us aware of it and that, I think the kid has blossomed.
I find being in an environment like this, I'm always active, I'm always healthy in that sense. So the more exercise I do, the healthier I find I am. So definitely not a hindrance. The lifestyle I live now probably helps my health.
It's the first time I've ever treated a patient with cystic fibrosis who's an elite athlete. I've always treated cystic fibrosis patients in the emergency department from their lung infections and lung conditions, so Nathan was certainly a challenge. We sat down and had a lot of discussions at the beginning to try and work out how we were going to cope with the condition. Constant treatments involve just going to a clinic and getting tests done, breathing tests, blood tests, whatever, just to make sure I don't have any bugs, I haven't picked up anything. And then just on top of that, just taking medications. I probably take up to 10 tablets a day or 15 tablets a day, just medications and vitamins, just to make sure I do keep healthy.
Charles was called into the Wallabies training squad ahead of their end-of-year tour to the Northern Hemisphere, and he's using his high profile to help raise awareness of the disease through his work with the Cystic Fibrosis Australia organisation.
Well, I was actually asked to take on the national ambassador role 2 years ago, but I didn't feel I was in a position to make a difference, and I didn't feel I was actually ready to talk about it publicly. And sort of over those 2 years, I've had a chance to mull that over, and I've kind of stepped into a professional environment, and I've sort of made it there on my own accord. So now I feel as though it's time to get that out there and let other people know exactly what it is, and people that are affected by it, that they can achieve. So not to just sit back and let cystic fibrosis control their life, but they can actually control the cystic fibrosis.
Charles is currently the world's only professional rugby player afflicted by the condition. He wastes little time worrying about the long-term future and what might lie ahead. He is, quite simply, a rugby player who happens to have cystic fibrosis, which, like any other problem, is an everyday challenge to be overcome.
I think in the last 10 years, the life expectancy has gone up about from 27 to 37. So, with research and a couple of studies I've been a part of, hopefully, doctors and researchers can find something to make that go longer. But I don't see that as a barrier for myself, and I hope other people don't see that as a barrier for them either. The thing I like to live by is just believe you can do anything because you can. The only thing stopping you is yourself. It might be a bit of a cliched quote, but it's something I truly believe in. The only person that can stop you doing something is yourself. So if you can overcome that barrier, I believe you can achieve anything. I want to make a final series with the Western Force and hopefully take that all the way and win a championship. Also want to play for the Wallabies. That's a long-term prospect. So I'll just keep pressing my case both here and in Australian rugby. Everyone's got their own problems in life, and this is mine. So I'm going to, like I said, tackle it head on and do as much as I possibly can.